City Clerk Engstrom.
Les Mangus, Director of Community Development.
Jolene Graham, Assistant City Administrator.
Jennifer McCaslin, City Administrator.
All right. At this time, Rick Neubauer, lead police and fire chaplain, will lead us in invocation. How you doing, sir?
Good, sir. Thank you. Would you join me in prayer? Gracious and loving Heavenly Father, we thank you for being able to come here tonight before you and our city leadership. And we ask tonight, in the midst of the chaos and uncertainty that we live in today, whether it's economic, political, or the drought, we pray that you would give them wisdom and understanding tonight, that they may lead us and guide us in the right direction, that they would have compassion for those that they lead over. We ask you would protect their families so that they may focus on the task at hand, and keep us all doing well here in the city of Andover. Bless us all, watch over and keep us. Let us guard our hearts and our minds tonight, that we may be civil and to treat each other with respect and kindness. We ask these things in Jesus' name. Amen.
Amen.
And if you would join us in the Pledge of Allegiance.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
All right. At this time, I'll open the floor for a public forum. If you'd like to speak to the council, feel free to do so. State your name and keep it short. No takers? Public forum is closed. Acceptance of the agenda.
Mr. Mayor,
Yes, sir.
I move to accept the agenda as presented.
Second.
Any further questions or discussion? All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
All opposed, nay. Motion carries 4-0. Proclamation 7-1, Andover Central High School Boys Bowling Team Proclamation. And Mr. Berry's going to read this for us.
So if you guys want to come up here and stand. Whereas the Andover Central High School boys bowling team took home its first 5A state championship. And whereas the state bowling tournaments were held at Bolero North Rock Lanes, Wichita, Kansas, March 5th through the 7th, 2025. And whereas the team has a total score of 33,648 points. And whereas Paxton McLeod, my apologies, rolled a career high series by more than 130 pins to win the Class 5A state title. And whereas Dayton Cunningham placed 4th, Gunnar Whitney placed 10th, and Evan Light finished 11th. And whereas the Andover Central High School team is coached by head coach Roxana Smith and assistant coach Gary Merritt. Therefore, I, Tim Berry, with the City Council assembled in regular session on the 8th day of April 2025, hereby proclaim April 9th to be Andover Central High School Bowling Team Day. Congratulations.
Did anyone have a perfect game this season or anything?
In practice.
Nice. Nice.
That's okay.
I'd take it. I'd take it.
Whoever did it.
I don't think I've ever broken 100. So
No, not one bit. Thank you, guys.
Congratulations, guys.
congratulations, guys.
Forgetting the proclamation, you have to sit through the whole deal.
The rest of the meeting.
Have a good evening. All right. Consent agenda 8-1 through 8-7.
Mr. Mayor,
Yes, sir.
I move to approve the consent agenda items 8.1 through 8.7 as presented.
Second.
Any further questions or discussion?
Mr. Mayor,
Yes, sir.
I do have one thing. You know, Buck, if you wouldn't mind passing on my sentiments or whatever, and congratulations to Rocco or whatever. I know we put it in the consent agenda, but I think that's a pretty big deal when one of our canine officers' dogs is retiring. So huge
Most
thank you.
definitely. And we're going to have a celebration retirement for Mickey on the 21st between 2 and 4 o'clock. And Rocco will be a part of that celebration as well.
Thanks, Chief.
You bet.
Anyone else? All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
All opposed, nay. Motion carries 4-0. 9-1 Meadowbrook Fourth Revised Petition amended Resolution of Advisability, amended Developers Agreement. And Jolene.
Good
We'll talk-
evening, Mayor and Council. Before you tonight is a revised petition for the paving and stormwater improvements for Meadowbrook Fourth Edition. We saw originally these petitions in November, and then you did see revised and amended petitions for both water and sanitary sewer at your February meeting. So these are the revised petitions for paving and stormwater. They did bid and come in over the engineer's estimates, so that necessitates a revision of all these documents. Also, here in this item is amended resolution of advisability and also an amended developers agreement to reflect the revised petition amount and the revised financial guarantee required. I'm happy to stand for any questions.
Anyone have any questions?
Mr. Mayor,
Yes, sir.
I move to accept the revised petitions for the paving and stormwater improvements, approve the amended developers agreement, and adopt amending resolution of advisability related to the Meadowbrook Fourth Edition.
Second, Barry. Any further questions or discussion? All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
All opposed, nay. Motion carries 4-0. Give me 1 second. All right. 9-2 Meadowlark Fourth Edition, second amending work ordinance. And Jolene, again, will talk to us.
This is an amending ordinance to go along with the item that you just approved, allowing for the cost for the construction to move forward.
Mr. Mayor,
Yes, sir.
I move to adopt amending ordinance authorizing the construction of the certain internal improvements related to the Meadowbrook Fourth Edition.
Any further questions or discussion? All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
All opposed, nay. Motion carries 4-0. Nine three bid award Meadowlark subdivision paving and stormwater improvements. And Rick will talk to us about this tonight.
So this will be the last of this Meadowbrook Fourth for tonight, and this is the bid award. Now that you've taken care of the work order and the other ordinances, the petitions to get the limits up to be able to afford this work as required by the law. APAC Kansas hasn't done a lot of work in the last few years here, but they have certainly done a lot of work in our community over the years and have always done good work, and we recommend the award of the project to them. I'd be happy to stand for any questions if you have any.
Mr. Mayor,
Yes, sir.
this is probably one of our examples that we're talking about on the construction prices or bids being well over the engineer or architect's estimates.
So prime example, the discussion we had last night and the potential changes in our, how we handle petitions in the future.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
Do we want to elaborate on it or is that good enough?
I will bring council, yeah, I'm assuming they'll take council action to do that. I'm not sure. Yeah,
Okay.
Jenny's on her head. So it'll be a council action item, but yeah, we'll
Okay.
discuss that later.
Changes coming in the future.
Changes coming in the future, yes.
Thank you, sir.
Mr. Mayor,
Mr.
Yeah.
I move to accept the lowest qualified bid from APAC Kansas Inc., Wichita, Kansas, in the not to exceed amount of $937,053.50 and reject all other bids and authorize the mayor to sign the contract for Meadowbrook Addition fourth phase paving and stormwater improvements.
Second.
Any further questions or discussion? All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
All opposed, nay. Motion carries 4-0. Founders Parkway, Andover Road to Sunflower Lane, city-state agreement. And Les Mangus is going to talk to us about this.
Mr. Mayor and Council, this is that typical agreement that we have on each of the KDOT funded projects in the Access Management Construction Program. This agreement just sets out the relationship between the city and the state regarding the sharing of the cost. This particular agreement, there's a $2 million cap. The $2 million is dedicated to construction only. All of the other costs, the preliminary engineering, the right-of-way acquisition, any utility relocation, and the construction engineering are 100% the responsibility of the city. You may remember this project has been in our queue for about 5 years now, and we've divided the Founders Parkway project into 4 phases in order to utilize that $2 million cap. And we're happy to bring this agreement to you because it's the last of those Founders Parkway 4 projects that complete the circuit from Yorktown all the way over to Onewood Street and provide a way around the commercial highway core for local traffic.
Any questions?
Mr. Mayor,
Yes, sir.
I move to approve the KDOT city-state agreement for Founders Parkway and Andover Road to Sunflower Lane. Andover Road to Sunflower Lane project KA 7653-01 and authorize the mayor's signature.
Second.
So it'll be in the mayor message this month, Andover citizens, that the next year there will be a great deal of, and already is, road construction going on. You're going to have to plan alternate routes. For example, Prairie Creek Bridge will be probably gone most of winter, and so you'll have to find an alternate route. So the most important thing is to be careful and get alternate routes to wherever it is that you need to go. And get on AndoverKS.gov and the information be on there as well, right? So it's coming, and it's just will make our city more fluid in regards to travel.
Mr. Mayor, if
Anyone
I
else?
may, this project is scheduled for construction beginning first quarter of '26, which will coincide with the initial construction on Highway 54. So be prepared for a sprouting of orange traffic cones and road closed and lane closure signs about the area.
So Les, when is the Andover Village Street, that's Founders Parkway, when is that going to be completed? Is that going to be, that's going to be done first, correct?
The segment that they're working on
Yeah.
today, west of Andover Road, should be finished in September, October of this year.
Okay. And do you know when that road's going to be open so people can start going down and getting back to their houses easier than having to go all the way around?
They've begun paving today.
Okay.
And they estimate the entire paving project is 6 weeks.
Okay.
But they are going to work on the village road side of it.
Okay.
Before the main line's complete.
Perfect. Thank you.
Again, a lot of this is just the fluidity of traffic in our city, and it will help greatly with the Andover Road and the congestion. So just got to be patient and bear with us. And I thank you for that. Anyone else? All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
All opposed, nay. Motion carries 4-0. 11-1 golf course equipment purchase, robotic mowers, and Rick's going to talk to us about this.
So, Mr. Mayor and Council, earlier this year, Dick Stunts with Oaks Golf and I were discussing their needs and some of their more pressing needs and on equipment out there. And as a reminder, we own the equipment through CIP purchases. We upgrade the equipment or replace them over time. Earlier this year, I don't know, it was a couple of council meetings ago, we brought before you a ZTR purchase that replaced the ZTR that we had loaned them that was like 7 years old out of our fleet from the Parks Department, which our parks mowers get, in the first cycle of first 3 years, they get used basically every day during the summer. So they get pretty heavy use. So it was way past due. And then we also bought a top dresser. That was pretty important to us too on the park side. And we're going to use that top dresser too out on our new ball fields and some of our other areas to help keep the turf in a better condition out there over time. So, but the long-term needs in there was just more than what we had funding in any given 1 year to replace. And it came to the, Dick brought up the idea of a lease purchase, and when, we discussed it and we ran the numbers, and it became apparent that that's probably the way to go to actually get the equipment brought up. Some of our end of year expenses have been, we are also responsible for, after a certain dollar amount, and I am going to get it wrong, but I think it's after $8,000, we're responsible for all the expensive repairs on equipment. And we've been going way past $8,000 on this equipment, all these different pieces of equipment annually. And so it became apparent that it was time to just get this piece of equipment replaced. So we sat down and worked with Dick on it, and we worked out, and in your packet is also a 10-year, kind of a 10-year plan, a budget on equipment repairs and other things too, like the clubhouse and the cart barn and cart pass and such. I'd love to say that that's the 10-year expenditures out there, but I have no illusions that I'm going to sit here and tell you that we've been able to predict 10 years of everything we need out there. I'm sure something will come up and things will move, but we at least made a good, solid attempt to plan out 10 years worth of purchases out there. So in the process of doing all this, like I said, a lease purchase was about the only way we really felt like we could get these pieces of equipment. And that will still allow a little bit of money this year, the way it's set up, for us to continue with some water line improvements, and in future years, water line improvements. If you remember last year, we had a pretty large water line improvement where we replaced the water line where it comes out of the well up to and where it tees and goes across the creek by hole 1. And then we went up and where it loops out. And so we're able to loop the whole system and up on the other end too, by hole 6, I believe it is. So we made some pretty good improvements in the reliability of the system. And then we also replaced the pump in the well. And that got done earlier. Well, we ordered it, I don't know, about this time last year, but it didn't come in until it was like dead of winter. It took a long time to come in, but it's been replaced. So a lot of improvements have been made to that. We've still got plans for more improvements over time. That brings us to where we're at now, because what I want to clarify is these purchases, all 3 of these are based on a lease purchase. So what we're asking for is authorization to purchase them now. And then we already have it queued up, but once we have the purchases done, we'll go to send it to the bank for a lease purchase. The banks will bid on it, bring us back the lease purchase agreement, and then we would then get the money back from the bank to pay us back, and then we'd make the lease payments. The other thing I'd like to point out in this whole part of this deal is that Oaks Golf by contract pays for 20% of all the capital equipment purchases. So 20% of the robotic mowers, 20% of the golf utility mowers, 20% of the rough mowers, all these items, they're paying 20% of. So I teed you up for all these because I'm gonna let Dick talk about the robotic mowers and explain a lot of that about that part of it, because I'm sure there'll be questions about that. And is that up there?
Is this live? Excuse me. Is it live? No? Oh, okay. What's this for? Is this for? Okay, all right. Well, I think they have, don't they have this in their packet, the safety thing? Rather than stand here and read what you probably have already read or can easily read, it is a very well done safety document that points out the safety of robotic mowing as we are purchasing. And quite frankly, I think it points out in this document as well that it is robotic mowing is safer than the mowers that we traditionally use, because they have reels and the maintenance on them that can be a little dangerous. So I feel very, very good about that aspect of it. As Rick said, as we went through our equipment inventory that we use on a regular basis, the mower that we use is a fairway mower that will mow our tees, our fairways, and the immediate collars around the greens. That fairway mower is 24 years old, and as we speak tonight, it's sitting dead as a doornail just north of number 5 green where it died this afternoon. And we'll send the cavalry in to get it tomorrow and see what we can do with it. But that's the replacement that we need. And we looked at simply buying another fairway mower, just replacing it kind of as is, or as we've traditionally done over time. But the robotic mowing has simply caught fire with the developments in it, the upgrades that they have, and a lot of my friends who are golf course superintendents, maybe grounds maintenance people, are going to robotic mowing more and more. And so about 2 years ago, when I heard about robotic mowing a while prior to that, I kind of took a look at it, kind of dismissed it and walked away. But as I understood now, the developments of it and the improvements of robotic mowing and the way you can program them, et cetera, it is tremendous on just quickly, if we would have bought or presented to buy a fairway mower, it would have been $76,000. The robotic package that we believe will meet our needs on tees, fairways, and collars is $42,000. And so not only is it, and then of course, robotic, autonomous, no operator other than electronics. And of course you have to set them up and you have to maintain them. But the maintenance of those are considerably less than traditional mowers. So I feel real good about it. It's stepping out a little bit. It is something new and different. I've not had robotic mowing at any of the properties that I've owned or managed. But I have a lot of confidence in the people that I've networked with and have gone to their facilities and watched them mow and talked to them about the ups and downs. And I really believe that it's the way to go. So with that, I'll just stand for questions.
Mr. Mayor.
Yes, sir.
What is the one? So, we're talking about number 5 being, or the fairway rough mower being dead as a doornail. What's the warranty on these? Who does the maintenance? Those are some of my questions as far as upkeep.
Okay. Colby Bertram is right over here with his hand in the air, and he brought us the robot here today just as demonstration. I'm going to flip that question to Colby.
Colby, if you'll step to the podium there.
Yeah, they have a 2-year warranty, and I would do all the maintenance and the work.
Are you here local in Wichita?
Yeah, I live in Wichita. Yep.
Okay.
I like the idea because it's you don't have to worry about human error of driving into such ore honoriness, which is popping wheelies on the riding lawnmower and stuff like that. So obviously they're going to be more reliable because the durability of less because no human error on top of it. So I like the idea of it. And I've seen them working at another golf course on a green specifically. And it was just, man, immaculate, And so it's a good idea, and it's where the world's headed. Any other questions?
where do they go when they're done?
They have
Or new
recharge.
housing, is there like new housing we're gonna have to build on each, tee?
Yeah, they have a recharge center called a docking center. And obviously this is all electronic. So you just have to have power located throughout the golf course. We have 3 very good locations. There's a chance after we get going on this process, we may want to look at 1 more location. All it needs is 110. The robot goes in parks, charges for approximately, say, 20 minutes or so. Charges for 20 minutes, and then it simply backs out and goes back and picks up where it left off.
And no need for Wi-Fi or anything like that out there?
They come equipped with the cell chip, a SIM card.
Okay.
So
So it's like a cell phone on a mower?
yeah, it connects to your phone, so you can monitor it through your phone or tablet or however you want to do that.
It's kind of like the little vacuum cleaner we have out here in the hallway, right? It just goes and houses.
Like a
itself.
Roomba?
Yeah. So it
Colby,
goes-
how long does it, how long will it run on one charge of the battery? And I guess how many greens can it mow with that charge?
Real quick, we're gonna mow tees, fairways, and collars.
Sorry, thank you. Yep, you said that. Yep.
Yeah, so it runs about 19 hours a day.
Okay.
So it charges for about 20, 25 minutes and it runs for about an hour and 45 minutes to 2 hours, just depending on how thick the grass is, it's wet, factors like that would deplete the battery.
Gotcha.
Kind of silly question, but will it run around the clock doing its thing?
Yeah, it doesn't need sunlight or anything to operate. It uses GPS.
Okay.
So yeah, it can run 24/7.
How does it operate in weather?
I mean, if it's a deluge, it has the weather sensor on there. So if it gets wet, you can have it park. But I mean, everybody just operates them in the rain for the most part, unless it's just an absolute downpour. But if it's a big enough storm cell, it'll probably shut off the GPS anyways, just because if it's big enough.
Does it run off a lithium battery?
Yeah, 10 amp hour, 20-volt battery. So not very much bigger than a power drill battery.
How often does a battery typically need to be replaced?
It should last 7 years, 5 to 7 years approximately.
And then what do those run? I know that price obviously will change in the next 7 years, but what do they run now?
$150.
Okay. All right.
I guess that's a good question. Will the machine outlast the battery?
Potentially, yeah. The machine should last about 7 to 8 years.
Okay.
I mean, some of them have been running for 15 to 20 years. It just kind of depends on how well you take care of them. And
Okay.
I just,
Don't require any sick leave or vacation insurance?
no gas, no oil. Yeah,
All right.
nothing like that.
Would it be worth to have a backup battery? Just switch them out once a year or something?
I have backup units. So if a unit goes down, I'll just bring my unit out and swap it out. I mean, it's literally just taking it from your cell phone and transferring map over.
And then noise, is it like a normal mower?
So it is 45 decibels, which we're talking louder than it is. You'll actually hear the sticks or grass or leaves cut before you'll hear the motor cut.
I was just, when it said you run it all night, I'm thinking, if I live next to, the 12 people that live next to the golf course, are they going to be hearing a mower? But
They'll probably enjoy it more. It's a lot much quieter than what you have right now.
I'd just like to say thank you, guys. Before you were talking about the price comparison, I was thinking that long-term probably maintenance costs are lower. Obviously, you don't have an individual hourly rate mowing, the safety factor. Then the fact that the cheaper costs, I think that's really exciting and a great way to save some money.
Got one last question, Mr. Mayor. Is everything electronic or is there any like servicing with any lubrications or gas or anything like that?
who sharpens the blade?
So the blade's literally just a little razor blade with throwaways. So there's 6 of them per cutting disc, so a total of 12, and they're about 25 cents a piece. So you just throw them away.
Wow.
After you're done with them and replace them.
Recycle.
Yeah, recycle. Yeah, we'll make sure.
Oh, of course.
So is it all electronic?
Oh yeah, sorry. Yes, it is all electronic. Yeah, the only maintenance really is changing the blades and then maybe scraping the deck if it's been wet for a while.
How often do you change the blade?
Probably in this application, 2 weeks to a month, just depending on the growth rate.
Huh. And then I know we talked a little bit before the meeting. You have some parks out there that you're doing this on?
Yeah, so the city of Manhattan is doing some public areas. All their public fields as well, and then some public areas around the Civic Center. Oklahoma State Capitol Building just deployed 7 robots at their Capitol building as a Department of Government Efficiency program. So they're out in public areas. City of Winfield, I have them in the cemeteries. We're looking to deploy them in the parks this year.
How will damage, if they are damaged, is it insurance covers that? Is it your company that covers it? How does that work?
Insurance coverage is my coverage. I'm responsible for the contents. So I am insured.
Okay.
Does that include if it gets stolen?
Yes, would,
Okay.
but
Yeah, it's
They have a
GPS
GPS in
tracked. Yeah. So we had one stolen one time, and it ended up in this house, and the judge issued a warrant, and the police went and got it and returned it.
Okay.
So it's not a blue. There's some confusion. It's not a Bluetooth track. It's actual GPS. So,
Okay.
So judges will issue typically a warrant for that.
And as far as safety, like if there's maybe a highway patrol car that zooms across or in front of it, it'll stop, right?
Well, maybe not as fast as the car, but yeah.
Okay.
That was a
Maybe that's
once in a
coming,
lifetime
man.
experience.
All right, all right, let's wind it up. Any more questions?
Thank you,
I
guys.
think, thanks for I think Mike already said it, or Paul said it, but thanks for the forward thinking on this. Rick, I'm sure, and Daniel, you'll be looking to make sure that maybe this is something we take on the baseball fields or, something creative out at the new parks and that kind of stuff.
So robotic mowers have been a thing at the public works conferences and such for a while. As you know me, I'm not afraid necessarily to be on the front end of things necessarily, but I've kind of taken a wait and see approach a little bit on putting them in a park space. And so we're going to monitor how it works over here. One thing that they didn't talk about is they have a base station as part of this package, as part of this system, and the base station will reach 10 miles. So, and I don't remember how much the base station costs as part of it, but if we decided in the future we wanted to do something, we could use one of these type of mowers without having to buy that base station and could piggyback on that if we so chose to do something in the future. If we didn't decide to go something with a totally different package or something along those lines. But no, it's something we've been talking about and looking at over time. But obviously for me, if I'm putting it around the playground, I'm gonna get a little different level of scrutiny than it will maybe in a golf
It'd
course.
become an attractive nuisance when you're talking about a 6-year-old kid seeing that rolling around. So I know it's not much different on the golf course with a couple Budweisers, but still, it's not a little kid, right? So, all right.
And Dick, you don't have any of your other courses. That's what you said, correct?
that's correct.
Thank you.
Anyone else? Can I get a motion? Yeah.
Mr. Mayor, I move to authorize the purchase of robotic mowers from BAS Turf, Denver, North Carolina, in the amount of $42,814.90, with the intention of utilizing a tax exempt or other lease in the future.
Second, Barry.
Any further questions or discussion? All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
All opposed, nay. Motion carries 4-0. Thank you, gentlemen. Or do we have more?
We got more.
More from Dick, I think.
Golf
Do you
course
need any discussion on the next 2 items, very standard golf course items? Do you have any questions? When it refers to the purchase of a golf utility vehicle, that is a Toro Workman,
Okay.
if you're familiar with that. And the rough mower is a Hustler 104-inch center zero turn mower with high production. We have one out there now that's we bought it used 6 years ago. And so it's a great unit, really high production, but it's just simply
Tired.
past its time. Yep.
Okay.
But I was,
All right. 11-2 golf course equipment purchase golf utility. Rick?
So that exactly is what Mr. Oakes was talking about there is the Toro Workman Truckster. It'll be used for a lot of things, including like pulling the sprayer, the top dresser, and just working out out on the golf course. It's something they need to get in place. If you have any questions?
This was a planned item.
It was in our plan. We kind of moved everything up because the needs are growing faster. Some of the stuff is just getting worn out faster.
I will just point out this one as well as the lemon tree are all part of that lease purchase that Rick already spoke to you about on the first item. So it's one large package, but it is 3 different vendors, and that's why we've got 3 different motions to the 3 different vendors.
Can I get a motion?
Mr. Mayor,
Yes, sir.
I move to authorize the purchase of a Toro Workman truckster from Professional Turf Products, LP, Lenexa, Kansas, in the amount of $35,222.88 with the intention of utilizing a tax exempt or other lease in the future.
Second, Barry.
Any further questions or discussion? All in favor, say aye.
I do have one question. Sorry, Mr. Mayor.
That's all right.
Dick or Rick, maybe one of you guys can, but since we got all these bids from multiple vendors, is it going to be the same price? I mean, it looks like they bid for everything all together. And if we're only going to pick one of everything they're bidding, are they going to allow, is it going to be the same price?
Yeah, we'll be able to pick out the one item out of there.
Okay. All right. Thank you.
All right. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
All opposed, nay. Motion carries 4-0. 11-3 golf course equipment purchase rough mower.
Mr. Mayor,
Yes, sir.
I move to authorize the purchase of a Hustler Super 104 mower from Kansas Golf and Turf, Wichita, Kansas, in the amount of $27,499.10 with the intention of utilizing a tax exempt or other lease in the future.
Second, Barry.
How's business to date? As you can,
Not very good.
not very good winter.
January and
Yeah.
February were record lows.
Man, crybabies won't get out there and play, will they?
They won't.
All right.
I do have one question.
Yes,
Mr.
go ahead.
Mayor. This is about the robotic that we voted on, but what about golf balls? I mean,
That's a good question.
I just thought about
Does
that.
it pick them up?
Unfortunately, no, it doesn't.
Is the golf ball gonna ruin all the blades and
No,
will it
no,
know when
no.
its blades are dead or, I mean, what's it do with golf
The
balls?
blades are retractable, so it uses centrifugal force to come out, so it won't damage the blades at all.
Okay, and they're not gonna launch them at anybody like a regular riding lawnmower?
No, yeah,
Okay.
there's no discharge on it. There's
Okay.
chop and drop. Yeah, so
Cool.
it's kind of like a flail mower. It just cuts it and drops it.
So,
There's no
so it will
discharge.
chop the golf ball up then, or will
No, it
it
won't chop the
or
golf
just
ball.
go back in the disc and,
Yeah, it'll just kind of just move it out of the way.
okay,
Yeah.
perfect, thank you.
Of course, you gotta be in the fairway for it.
Well,
to-
yeah, I've never been there, so I don't know.
Mr. Mayor.
Yes, sir.
And just another thing, we've already voted on it or whatever. What's the turnaround on this? We're sitting at beginning of April. When are we getting the robotic mowers and these other 2 items as well?
The Toro Workman sets in a shop. We'll get that in a day or two.
Okay.
Okay. And the
Rough mower?
the rough mower was a week out as soon as we placed the order. So we're really in good shape on those 2. The robots, we were just having that discussion before they're in place and operable. Colby, can you just give us a kind of an estimate on that?
Kind of the goal is about the end of the month. I think it's receiving up the antenna, the GPS antenna up, the RTK antenna. And then the questions have to be the site. So it could take a little bit of time, but it shouldn't, 3 or 4 weeks. I anticipate.
Is that going to interrupt mowing or anything, Dick? What are we going to do for those 4 weeks?
Yeah, with my mower sitting out by 5 green, I can't answer that directly. But we'll get by. I have friends. If I got to spend a little money on rents or whatever, that's just the way we'll have to get from here to there.
Okay.
Okay.
I do have access to a one with a motor on it that does so if you need that, give me a holler.
Okay.
All right. We didn't vote, did we?
No.
No.
Okay. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
All opposed, nay. Motion carries 4-0.
Just quickly, thanks again to the city of Andover, the elected officials, the staff that work with me on these issues, because equipment has been a battle and we're really taking a major step forward here in addressing those issues. Thank you.
I'm kind of biased, but across the board, our people are better than anybody. You know, thank you, sir.
I agree.
All right, 12-1 wastewater user rate resolution, and Rick's going to talk to us about this.
So, Mr. Mayor and Council, I'm gonna give a brief background again. I know we've went over this many, many times, but I'm going to do it one more time really fast. 2020, we hired PEC to do a comprehensive, PEC and Burns McDonnell do a comprehensive study of both our collection and our treatment system. I'll just highlight the collection system. Basically, I would just say we've got an A+ rating on it. There was really nothing that we needed to do with that system. That was really good. So there was no money required to be spent on improving that system. The treatment system, his original plant down there was built in 1977. Then it was upgraded and expanded in 1996. Generally, you kind of plan every 20 years for that. So you can do the math. We're a little past 20 years, obviously. The last plant modification of treatment modification was in 2011, where we added some aeration. We had to add the aeration because our
Output?
the stuff coming to our plant is strong. Let's put it that way, because we don't have water infiltration, so it's not diluted down. So it's got a high concentration, let's say. So we added more aeration to be able to treat it. And then around 2020, 2021, we added a sludge press system to dewater, and so we could get rid of the sludge. But that's post-treatment. It's kind of getting rid of the stuff after we treat it. So that kind of takes you up to where we're at now. They did recommend, and we kind of figured they would, the need for expansion, because we knew we were getting close to our capacity limits, and for treatment, because we knew phosphorus limits were coming down on us and some other things were coming to us on KDHE permit limits and such. So it brings us to where we're at now. So we went through the design. So for the last 5 years, we went through the study, the design, and we got out and we bid it. And now we have a firm cost of what the project bid at. Came in at $47 million. It's a large number. Luckily, the city financially had been saving and had amassed about $17 million to put in cash towards the project. So it is going to offset some of those needed rate increases. We had originally projected, a series of $5 a month rate increases. And when we got the bid in and then looked at where our actual current revenues at, the bids were higher, but also the bids were higher because of inflation, and so such things like that drove it up. But also interest rates were higher because of that too. So we made more money on the money we had. So kind of maybe wash that out a little bit. And when we ran the numbers in the model, it came back to where we didn't have to go with a $5 rate increase over the next, originally it was a $5 rate increase in 25, $5 rate increase in 26, and a $5 rate increase in 27. We're now, we've adjusted that rate increase in the resolution. And we are proposing in the rate resolution to be a $4 rate increase and a $4 rate increase and $4 rate increase, and then a $1 rate increase. So it's a little bit less than what we was proposing previously, with a slight 3% rate increase thereafter to avoid that, because we did go 7 years without any rate increases, which kind of put us behind the 8 ball, where we're kind of seems like we're making larger rate increases, where if we would have been making smaller rate increases over time, we would have both been a little heavier in our reserves to help offset some of this plant expansion and cost. And we know in another 20 years or so, the city's going to be back in this point again, where they're going to have to be planning and doing some upgrades. This is just the cycle that you go through in the wastewater industry, is every so often you have to do expansions, you have to do pump replacements, you have to do these things. So it's cyclical. Every city goes through it. It's just what happens. Right now, it just happens to be a pretty expensive time for these kind of things. But I've talked a little bit about it. We've talked about this numerous times in many meetings. I'm happy to stand for any questions if you have any.
Mr. Mayor?
Yes.
Not so much a question, Rick, but I do just want to thank you, staff, for making this a plan as opposed to us, KDHE telling us we have to do it and then it jumps up that $12 at one time. So doing it over the next few years, I really appreciate that. So thank you for that. And because I'm sure it wasn't just it's done. You had to do a lot of work for that. So I appreciate it. Thank you.
Can you speak to us just a small summary so people know that, because many don't know, I worked at the wastewater treatment back in the day, and we fought infiltration and all that stuff, and just gives us, the people out there, an idea of what you've done over the years before it gets to the treatment plant.
So I think it's like 15 years of what they call CIPP, cured in place pipe, where they go in and they line the old clay tile and those types of pipes, and they've lined them. We don't have any more of those pipes that we've identified that we can line. And we've also been, and we are continuing to do, where we go in and we line some of our manholes too and treat those for where groundwater gets into. Now, when I said that our sewage coming to us is a little bit stronger, what happens is when groundwater gets in, that groundwater mixes with your sewage water and it kind of dilutes it down. Well, we don't have that dilution down. So it is a little stronger. However, we're also not treating a lot of water that we wouldn't have to treat. And that's kept that volume down. We just went through this exercise again. I think we settled on about 70 gallons per capita, which is way under what KDHE thinks. And I know Les has went through it with KDHE. I think they quit questioning us finally, but they used to really think we were wrong. I think they questioned our meters before. They thought we were underreporting how much we treated. We've even brought in meters and plopped them in and double checked. We just don't. Our per capita is pretty low, but that's because we don't have that groundwater that comes in. I've worked in other cities where you could tell when it rained because your water treatment went up a lot when the groundwater came up and such. So, but by lining all those pipes, we basically have changed those clay tile pipes to basically a plastic pipe. And we've extended the life of those drastically. So the collection system in Andover, I don't know that it would be the best in the state of Kansas, but there's no city I would change without knowing more about them, hands down. We will not stay this way forever, but we do not have one lift station. Lift stations are not necessarily the worst thing in the world because, sometimes you have to have them. But if you don't have to have them, that's a good thing. And right now we do not have one. We're all gravity fed down to the plant, and we have all lined or upgraded sewer piping. We have really good system that's been sized up and capacities there to accept our growth in the collection system. And Brian and his crew have done an exceptional job. And as you saw here earlier this year, they got an award for being in their class of city, one of the best. I think it was the best in their class of collection system operators. And when I put in the award on their behalf because they would never do it for themselves because I knew they would win because their system is that good. But it's a really good, well-run system. I can't underestimate the value of that because that's the part that people tend to ignore because it's underground, it's hidden, and you only have to pay attention to it when it collapses and fails. At some point in time, I believe there's going to be a lot of cities that are going to have a lot of issues because a lot of those pipes are going to fail all at the same time. And it's going to be very expensive for some cities to bail out. You guys and your people that replace you over time as your predecessors won't have to deal with that. You're in a good situation.
What year was that when I was out there, Les Mangus? 93? 93, I was 18, you were 45, 46. But anyway, I digress. But I can tell you, when I worked out there and then I worked at our neighboring wastewater plant, when it rained, we would get completely washed out. Sometimes we'd have to replace our bacteria because it'd wash out our plants. We'd just stand back and watch it go. So that's why I wanted to bring that up because it's the stuff you've done over the years. Staff has been, like you say, the stuff people can't see and that doesn't tag us on our utility bill goes a long way. So thank you very much.
Yeah, and that actually delayed the need for you to do a plant many, many years.
All right, I forgot where I was at. Any other questions?
Mr. Mayor,
Yes, sir.
I move to adopt a resolution establishing the sewer service charge base rates effective upon the billing cycle commencing the first day of July 2025.
Second.
Paul?
Yeah.
Any further questions or discussion? All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
All opposed, nay. Motion carries 4-0. Member items, Tim, would you like to start?
I do not have any tonight, sir.
I don't think I have anything. We did have a young member from the community with us tonight, so I just applaud you for being here, Hayden, and good luck with your badge. And if you need anything, just don't hesitate to reach out, all right? Thanks for staying for the whole meeting as well.
And if your group would like to have a tour of the city and maybe talk about municipal, I can't say it, municipal.
Municipalities.
Because, gosh, local politics, we would be glad to have y'all in, okay? Just reach out to Mayor Price and we'll set it up, okay? Thank you, Homer.
I'm good.
I'll take everybody's time tonight. I wanted to send a congratulations to Dylan, who works within the city, moving from an intern to the interim position as a planning tech. And then I also wanted to just, as I look through the different member items and you guys provide a recap for us, I just want to say thank you guys all again for all the work that you guys are doing every single day that we don't always talk about up here and not everybody sees. You guys are always out there in the community, continuing education, accreditation, working with each of your teams, and it's really impressive. And it's why this all functions so well. And I know that the mayor is always good to give credit to you guys, but not everybody sees that all that's going on behind the scenes. I'd also like to just officially congratulate Lieutenant Ferris on his retirement. I know that we've talked about that, but that's a big deal. 26 years of service, 25 here in Andover, or 26 in Andover.
So it's 5 years as a reserve officer, coming up on 20 years as a full-time officer. And sent him a text tonight and he says, thank you. Already gave me the message. And fortunately, he's enjoying retirement too much because tomorrow him and his brother are going on a fishing trip. So.
Wow.
Very nice. Well deserved for sure. But just the thought of somebody dedicating that amount of time to this community is significant. And then I just wanted to share that I attended with Jenny a city forum event in Bel Air that was put on by the League of Kansas Municipalities. And really, it's just it's a great opportunity. It gives your governing body a great chance to network with other city municipalities, as well as getting updates in regards to state legislation that directly impacts this community. And if you're not aware, the League of Municipalities serves as a voice for us, for all, or for the majority of Kansas municipalities. And really, it's an opportunity that we can better understand what's going on at the state level. So I appreciate that opportunity to attend that as well.
All right. And I kind of want to piggyback. You stole my thunder a little bit and I appreciate it. But I alluded to it with Dick Stunts across the board, from parks to sewer plant, wastewater plant, streets department, all the way up to the city hall, city staff, and including this governing body. Even though we have our family, we have our disagreements, this is the best. These folks are the reason Andover is the city that it is to live in, because all the things that go on all the time that nobody notices. I was talking to a street department lady that was working with the parks department the other day. And I said, remind me of when I was on third shift. It's just like we were elves. Magic happened while everybody else was sleeping. So people don't realize all the effort it takes in from the streets to the top of City Hall across the board. We're a very blessed city to have the people we have in charge and doing the work around here. Staff have anything they'd like to say?
I was just gonna let you all know your local bookworm here. There's a a book club opportunity, which I'm never one to miss a book club. So local government network through Wichita State University, of which we are members, is doing 13 ways to kill your community. I want the public to know that is sarcasm. So the book is written in a pretty satirical way. It's funny. It tells you basically what not to do, but in telling you what not to do, it tells you what to do. Jolene, Les, the rest of community development staff, and I participated last year in this book study. They are trying to kind of gear it more towards elected officials. So I have a copy of the book if any of you want to sign up. But the first, I know, Homer, you're excited about that. The giving me those eyes like you just can't wait to do this. The first session is Thursday and tomorrow is the last day to sign up. So if anybody's interested, I did bring the book and I'd be happy to get you signed up. And if you can't commit to all of the sessions, it is the kind of thing that you can come in and participate in one and go away for the next one and still get something worthwhile out of.
I couldn't help but notice you looked right at me with 13 things not what to do. Is that a Freudian thing or?
No, there's a lot of funny underlined things from me. So you could kind of get in my head if you read my book.
All right. Can I get a motion to adjourn? Anybody else, by the way? Motion to adjourn, please.
Matt, you sure? Nothing about
Don't get me
pre-budget?
started, man.
Pre-budget? Mr. Mayor, I move to adjourn.
All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
All opposed, nay. Motion carries 4-0. Jody would have a fit if she knew we got done this early.